Hi guys. For position rankings, we got the defensive linemen slash defensive tackles. So for us, I'll give you guys a little preview. So for 3-4 schemes, I'd kind of since they don't really have like two specific defensive tackles, like that's not what they're listed as. For those teams, I just want to what is their top? Who do I think is their top two guys on the defensive line that aren't outside linebackers? For those teams, but some teams, before three base teams, those teams have two Pacific defensive tackles just in their depth chart, so it made it easy. I just went for those guys. I went for those guys there, just to help you, just so you guys know that. So yeah, first to start with, 32 of the Cardinals with Belon Nichols and Justin Jones. You know the picture of Chris Campbell. He isn't in the Cardinals anymore. It's just that's a cool picture I found. I thought I'd put on here. But yeah, so we got Nichols. He's okay. Like but you don't really want either him or Jones to be your main number one guy. They're fine number twos and threes, but like as your both of them as number ones, that's not great. Maybe they can like work together to be at least a good can be a good combo to be number one, but they're not great players, but they're okay. At 31, I had the Chargers with Tito Ojobonia and Puna Ford. Ojobonia is kind of thinking he's all develop and be better than he has been. Because like, if it was just these two players, like if this based off like last year, not going into this year, I might have Cardinals over the Chargers to be close, even closer than it is, just because Trubisky and Ford didn't have great years last year, but neither did Nichols or Jones. So I'm kind of thinking Otito will have a little bit of a breakout here and be a little better. I don't think he's that good either way. He just isn't. But yeah, Puna Ford, he's okay. He's all right, but he's also some injuries. He's just and he's only 29, but he could do better there. The Chargers have been searching for their defensive tackle, like which are a great defensive tackle for a while, and they have not been able to find it. So we'll see there. Then at 30, had the Broncos with DJ Jones and Iwami, who was Ricky. Like on their 3-4 scheme, it's like on their depth chart, they have Zach Allen listed as defensive tackle too, but he's really an edge rusher, so I kind of didn't. That's why I put him in the edge group, not the defensive tackle. If I did do defensive tackle for him, I think he probably maybe a little higher. I just think Zach Allen's more of an edge rusher, so that's why I did that, just so you guys know that. Yeah, Jones, he's good. I feel like he's better than any of these guys behind him. Like on Cardinals, either the guys in Chargers or Cardinals. It was Ricky. He was suspended all of last year, so he didn't play at all. So we'll see how he does coming back. So see, but hopefully he can come. He was a decent player when he last played, so hopefully he can keep maybe because he wasn't injured or anything, so he could still play on practice field and develop a little bit. So maybe he developed and got a little better. But yeah, I'm not expecting much out of Ricky. At 29, I have the Vikings with Harrison Phillips and Jonathan Bullard. They also have Jerry Tillery. But I went Bullard because like Bullard's been on this team for 3 years. He came over with O'Connell for us, kept him, and they keep on re-signing him to 1 year deals. So it kind of makes you think they kind of like him. So that's why I did that instead of Tillery. They also have Levi Drake Rodriguez, who's having a good camp, had a good preseason, so he could get some playing time as well. So yeah, they have a few guys playing, probably get some playing time along with Bullard. Like the only those two guys, Phillips is for sure going to get a ton most playing time. Like the, like it's just a question of who's going to get the second most playing time out of these defensive linemen for the Vikings. Yeah, Phillips is all right, but he's decent at everything, but he's not really good at anything. He's just one of those mid players, but he's still a good okay. So that's like as for Vikings, you're kind of hoping some of those young guys can step up. Because you're not expecting anything Tillery. He was just a depth signing, really. So we'll see. But there's two different players. Then at 28, at the Bears with Andrew Billings and Javon Dexter. Billings, decent. He's a decent player. He can be good at times. Then at opposite of him, you have Javon Dexter. He did not have a good rookie year. Like there's a lot of memes going out his final year of college because like he took forever to react to the ball getting snapped. Like like his quick step took forever because he was not looking at the ball. But yeah, Dexter. So they're hoping Dexter gets an extra year development. He does better for them. They do have another defensive tackle they drafted in 23. Let's see here. So they also have Zach Pickens. Zach Pickens is even worse than those guys, but he was a former third round pick in 23. So probably he is your third defensive tackle. You don't have anybody else. So he will get some playing time, but he's not very good either. So like you're hoping one of Pickens or Dexter develops and gets better. Like they can't get much worse than they were last year. So yeah, we'll see though. Then 27, I have the Cowboys with Mozzie Smith and Osa Oduze Wizia. Sorry, I'm terrible with some of these bad last names. But yeah, those two guys, Mozzie Smith, they drafted him late first round, 23, hoping he can be that good run stopper that they've been looking for. He was not that his rookie year. Hopefully, he can be that his second year, but we'll see. Like, if you're basing off this rookie year, these guys are probably a little lower just because Smith was terrible. It was not good at all. Like, he was not a good run stopper like they drafted him to be. So we'll see. And Osa, he's all right, but he's not great either, or good either, I should say. Like, obviously, he's not great. Like, if you're great and you're just farther down the depth chart, like, how the rankings, like, how bad is your number two? How bad is your number two? Yeah, just joking there. But yeah, the Cowboys have decent players there. At 26 at the Dolphins is Zach Steeler and Calais Campbell. Campbell had a better year than this last year with the Falcons. It's just he was more of an edge rusher than a defensive tackle because they had great Jared and David Armino last year with the Falcons. Yes, Benita Jones. But like Campbell's still a good player, but he's late 30s. So how much longer can he keep this up? At this point, like he's a better main edge rusher than he is an interior defensive lineman. He'll see there, but they don't need him at edge. So when they're 3-4 anyways. But yeah, because they can might have to play some edge because they got some injuries, a lot of injuries going on from last year. We'll see. Zach Steelers a decent. He's okay, but like neither of those guys are very good. And Benito Jones probably is going to get some rotation snaps as well, but he's not that good either. At 25, I have the Saints with Nathan Shepard and Kellen Sanders. Both guys are going to their second year at the Saints. They played good years for them last year, but they're both 30. Let's see. Let's see there. So yeah, they're both in their 30s. Shepard's almost 31. He's just his birthday this year. So yeah, like I don't know what you have in them, but they're decent players at this point. Just yeah, they're not great. I think Saints could really use David Onimata still because that's where he what came from the Falcons. But yeah, they're still good players. So yeah, this is for this side. Next side, let's go for 24 through 16. 24 are the Rams, Brandon Fisk and Kobe Turner. So yeah, Brandon Fisk, rookie second round pick. I he was drafted too high for me. Like I thought he was an early third, late second. He was drafted early second, like because of his combine. Like he had a good combine. I still think he's a good player. I just think that's a little high. That's a little high for me. And Kobe Turner, I think he had a good rookie year. It was the same thing with their edge guys. Like how much of that was them having good years was because they had a guy like Aaron Donald who is now retired. Like so, like how much that production was because the offense line had to focus on Aaron Donald. So yeah, we'll see. They're still young players, so they should be good. I just kind of don't know about without Donald. Then at 23, you have the Steelers with Cam Hayward, Larry Ozerubi. Cam Hayward, like this is based on Cam Hayward's career, just be higher. But he dealt injuries last year. He missed I think 6 games. I think he only played 10 or 11. He still had like 2.5 sacks. So he still had some sacks. But he played. Just can he stay healthy? Even then, he's in his mid to late 30s. So it's like he's not exactly young. So can he stay healthy? And if he does, though, is he declining a little bit? Misernobi, he's a good run defender. He's not great, pass rusher. I still most defensive tackles aren't great pass rushers, anyways. It's not like it's just against Ojobi. It's not much of that. He's still a fine player. It's just how Hayward's going to stay healthy and bounce back. So yeah. At 22, have the Texans with Mario Edwards. And for also Falikowski. Edwards is a good player. Like I think it's Tracer said last year that Texans. They send. I think it's the second year. Texans. Let me double check. So they said last year Seahawks. Sorry, I thought it. Yeah, he had a good year with the Seahawks last year. He had two sacks. He's a good runner for them. He's a still a good player, but he's not great. And it, opposite him, you have Kwiatkowski. Had some decent years, but like, he's struggled with the Jaguars these last couple years from. There's the reason they got released him instead of keeping him on that big contract. So kind of bounce back to what he was a good player when he was with the Falcons before this. We'll see. It might be just one of those guys who's a good number two defensive tackle, but not good number one. Because in fact, in Atlanta, they had Gray Jarrett, what industry really still good, really good Gray Jarrett. I think Gray Jarrett's still a fine player. I just don't think he's as good as he was 3 years ago. I just don't think he is. So yeah, I'll talk about it more a little bit about the Falcons later on. At 21, at the Jaguars with Davon Hamilton and Eric Armstead. I think Davon Hamilton's just a fine player. Meant to develop and get even better, but I just don't think he'll be a lot too much better. So yeah, and obviously them you brought in Eric Armstead from the Niners. Still, he's still a good player, but he's in his 30s at this point. Like the Niners are regretting moving on from Buckner instead of Armstead back when they did that. Obviously now both are gone, but they moved on from Buckner a few years ago. Armstead's still a decent player. I was saying some of these teams ahead of him have a good number one and two. But I only think the Jaguars have a good number one, but don't have a very good number two. Yeah. So yeah. At 20, at the Seahawks with Leonard Williams, Jarran Reed. They brought in Leonard Williams in the trade deadline last year. They re-signed him to a 3 year something worth something deal. I think it was 60 something. I might be wrong. Sorry. I just exact numbers off the top of my head. I know it was a 3 year deal. Yeah, he was decent for them. So decent player. He's in his 30s at this point, so is he on the decline a little bit? And you also have Jarran Reed. He's another. He's a good player as well. It's just he's also 32. He had 7 sacks last year. He had a pretty good year last year. I don't know how these guys will do when they're just not getting any younger, getting older and older. So yeah, they're still good players. Ahead of them, I have the Browns at 19 with Dalvin Thompson, Shelby Harris. Thompson's second year with them. So then, yeah, he's a good passer. He's a good run defender, good and decent, good pass rusher at times. He's a good defensive tackle. Then you also have Shelby Harris. He had a good year last year. It's just he's 33. It's like how long is time to keep it up? Like 33, that's at the point where a lot of players can start to decline. Some don't, some can delay it, but I think this might be when he starts to decline a little bit. But he's still a decent player. At 18 at the Patriots, Christian Barmore and Davon Goddock. Barmore is like the main. He's a pretty good defensive tackle. He's a good player. Yeah, so Goddock, he's decent, but he's a fine number two. He's still a good player. I think Barmore could still might be getting better because he's going in his 5th year now. He's still relatively young. He's not super young, obviously, because it's his 5th year, but he's not super old either. So yeah. Then 17 had the Bengals with Sheldon Rankins and BJ Hill. Like I think they're gonna miss the loss of DJ Reader, who's now on the Lions. I think that's gonna be a huge loss. Like this team struggled once Reader went down with that torn ACL last year. On the defensive line, also they have Burrow's injury as well, but Reader was another big injury that sucked for them. So yeah. Rankins is a good put. Rankins and Hill, those are two good players. Like Hill, they somehow like a few years ago they somehow got him from the Giants for Billy Price, who everybody at the time knew was not a good player. he was a former first round pick, like recently at the time, but like, we knew he wasn't a good player. Like Giants traded a very pretty good one, DJ Hill. Like, could you imagine BJ Hill and Dexter Lawrence? Those two guys would be great together. But yeah, those are two good players. And then 16 at the Panthers, Derek Brown, Deshaun Robinson. Like, I think Hill. Let's just say, I think Hill and Rankins are better than Robinson. But I think Brown's better than both Rankins and Hill, which is the reason why I have him out over those two guys. But Robinson, I still isn't that good. Is a decent as number two. Derek Brown, he's good. He's a really pretty good player. It's just part of the reason I have him kind of slow down is that they don't have much of edge. Like they have pretty big questions edge. They traded away Brian Burns, and then they brought in AJ Von Clowney and AJ Wanham. Two guys who Wanham's not has been varying since his career. Clowney is the same thing, but he had a good year last year. So it's like they got some questions there. So like Brown's their best pass rusher. So like yeah, and like they're like your defense line can be easier to double because like not because even if they're in the center, you can double from the guard. If they're over a guard, you can double them with the tackle or the center. So it's like yeah, I still think Brown's a really good player. So for the side now, let's go 15 through 6. And so 15, I got the Bills with Ed Oliver and Deacon Jones. I think Oliver and um, why am I blank? Ed Oliver and Derek Brown, I think, are still around the same. They're both really good players. It's just Deacon Jones and H.M. Robinson around the same. I think they're both decent players. It's just I think it's Oliver is going to help Oliver because the Bills have better pass rushers than the Panthers do. I think that's going to help them a lot. Helps when you have a better defense line around you because that way you got the main. You won't be like the huge main focus. Well, you still could be. It's just like they have other good players that focus on. Versus the Panthers, big questions who could be your number two as defensive lineman other than Derek Brown. So yeah, at 14 at the Lions, DJ Rager and Allen McNeil, Brown Reader from the Bengals. He's been really good for the Bengals. It's just it sounds like he's only out for at least week one. They're targeting week two for his comeback game. His first game back. But even then, he's got off torn ACL, thinking like week 11, week 12 last year. So, like, is he fully like 100% speed right away? Is he still down? And even if he is fully healthy right away, he is in his 30s. So the older you get, harder it is to recover from major injuries. And torn ACL is a pretty major injury. Like Neal, he's been good for the Lions. He's been good for the Lions. Yeah, I think he's a good player. Just some of these teams, I think I have less questions about their number one and have a better number two than McNeil. I still think McNeil's a good player. But that's part of the reason I have the Lions at 14. Then at 13, I have the Falcons, Brady Jarrett, and David Anemada. Anemada had a really good first year with the Falcons last season, but Jarrett struggled with injuries. So yeah, when he was healthy, he didn't do great. They're both 31. Or I know they're in the stories. I think they're both 31. I haven't looked at them recently. Like I looked a few hours ago. I can't remember the exact age off the top of my head, but yeah, they're both good players. So good players. And 12 are the Niners with Javon Hargrave and Malik Collins. Hargrave, he had still had a good year last year, but he had a little bit of a down year compared to his previous year with the Eagles. So we'll see. And like that's year the Niners, he wasn't like the main number for sure main number one because they had Armstead. Last year with the Eagles, they had Jalen, they had Jalen Carter, and Jordan, they have a lot of defense line around him. So it's like, can he be a consistent main really good number one? I still think he's a good player. So can he be that? Collins, he's fine. It's also a good player. So that's part of the reason. Like he's part of the reason they're this high. So yeah. So, but also Collins is 20. Yeah, McCollins is still a good player as well. So yeah. So then 11. So speaking of the Eagles, Target's former team had Eagles next 11 with Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, two former high first round picks out of Georgia. One is second year now, one is now third year. They opened it the greatest last year, but they're still young. I think they'll be getting better. Just I don't think they're elite number ones like some of these teams of them have, and some will have two good number twos as well. Yeah, those are still good players, and they do lose a huge leadership in the tier defense line because Brandon Fletcher Cox is retired. Even if Fletcher Cox was somebody who used to be in his prime, Fletcher Cox is still good players. He could have been a good mentor for these guys, for these young players. So yeah. And number 10, I have the Giants, Dexter Lawrence, Raheem Nunez, Roaches. Lawrence in his eye. It's pretty obvious. It's Lawrence. Like Lawrence is really, he's a superstar. Roaches, he is not that good. He's just not. You're glad he's your number two, but if Lawrence goes down for injury for a couple of games, you're in trouble because you don't have much out behind him at defensive tackle, and you have fine definite edge, but you don't have great step that could kind of move in there. So yeah, you get yeah. So it's like if it was just he'd be a lot closer to the top five. It's just Norman Roche is taking them down a few spots. At number 9, the Titans, Jeffrey Simmons, Roger Sweat. I think Lawrence is like close, a little better. I think Lawrence might be a little bit better of a player, and Simmons is really close. Just I'm a lot higher in his Sweat this year than Roche's. That's like the reason. Like I factor in number 2. Like when they're really close, I factor in the number 2s a lot. Just like okay, who do I think's the better number 2? And I think Sweat's a better number 2 than Roche's. I just do. So yeah, Simmons and Lawrence are both really good players. At 8, at the Raiders with Chris Wilkins and John Jenkins, who's with his first year with the Raiders. He came from the Dolphins. Here's an elite edge opposite right next to him, and Max Crosby. Like those two should be really scary this year. Like Wilkins is very good. Jenkins, he's a decent number 2. But so yeah, they're both good players. Yeah, like at this point, every team at this point has a really good one number tackle. At this point, it's really how's their number 2? Yeah. Then at 7, at 7, I have the Packers with Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt. Kenny Clark he's a pretty good player. Devontae Wyatt, he's a good player. He's decent, but he's also like been he's been a little consistent, but he's still a good. He's still a good player. I'm trying to pull up his stats. Here's another former defensive tackle out of Georgia. So yeah, he upgraded. He got more sacks last year. So if he can get better, it's just I think Park's a really good player. Just I'm a little higher on the guys other teams number ones ahead of him. But it's really close. Yeah. Then number 6, I have the Jets with Quentin Williams and Von Kinlaw. Quentin Williams is really good. Like he's he's been even better since then before when Salah came, but he's still a good player. But now he's become a superstar since Salah came over. He's been really good for them. And then they brought in Javon Kinlaw from the Niners. Kinlaw was drafted when Salah was still the DC of the Niners, so Salah liked Kinlaw coming out. Kinlaw did show some flashes last year once he got some more playing time. So we'll see. He still has some injuries, but he's for sure first round pick bust. Like, yeah, he's still a decent player. So yeah, let's go to the top 5. Yeah, like these top 5 all have a good number 1, really good number 1, and then decent. Like I'm high on. I just think Kansas don't have a good number 2 second year. Other guys are just think they're good as well. So yeah, Buccaneers have Vita Vea, Kaiser Kansas. Vita Vea, he's a really good tackle. He's been great for the Bucs since he came in 2018 when he was drafted in the first round. You got Kansas, drafted him in the first round, 23, so he's going to second year. That was some injuries last season, so can he stay healthy? If he can, I think he'll have a breakout year and have a good second year. So yeah. And at 4 are the Ravens, Justin Matabuke and Michael Pierce. Matabuke is another really good player. Michael Pierce is a good nose tackle. He's in his 30s, so how much longer can keep this up? But maybe he did opt out of the COVID year, so maybe that will help staying off that decline a little bit because he took a year off. Because that can sometimes it helps just keep your body healthy. So we'll see. But he's still getting older. So yeah. Then number 3 had the Colts with the Forrest Buckner and Grover Stewart. The Forrest Buckner, he's elite. He is. And then opposite of him, I have Grover Stewart. They have Grover Stewart, I should say. He's really good run stopper. Like you could tell how much the Colts missed him when he was down with injuries last year. Because their run defense was a lot worse once Stewart went down. You could you could tell they were missing somebody. Yeah, they're both good players. So yeah, like Buckner's been elite for a long time, but he's also 30. So how long can he keep that up? So then Stewart, he's also 30. He's gonna be 31 in October. And yeah, like he missed 6 games last year. So can you stay healthy? But he's a really good run defender. So yeah. So now let's move on. Colts now number two at the Chiefs, Chris Jones, Derek Nottie. Those Colts is just part of because I'm more trusting on Nottie staying healthy, and Chris Jones is also really good. Like they're like all these top five guys, like these teams number ones in the top five are all really good. And they all got good number twos because I think Kancey will be a good number two this year for the Ducks. Yeah. So then number one of the Commanders, it's Jerome Payne and Jonathan Allen. Both are really good defensive tackles for them. Like they're elite. Just like they don't have to help carry the Washington defense line because they do not have much of an edge anymore. Like they used to be probably the top. They're one of the top defensive lines, including the edge rushers in the league. Not just a few years ago. Then they traded Sweat. They traded Trace Young. Now they didn't have like nothing in edge rusher, but they still have a ton of defensive line that's going to help carry that pass rush. Yeah, Payne and Allen are both for defensive tackles. They're good pass rushers, and then they're great run defenders. They're just great players. Like, yeah. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day.